Hi, I'm Margaret Lewin and welcome to Margaret Lewin Quilting. Today we're going to be working on block number 5 of our springtime sampler. This is what our block looks like, It's a pinwheel block. It's made from 2 different fabrics. Our fabrics in this instance are 6 and 11. This is 6, this one's 11, and this is what we'll be making. First, what we need to do to start off is sorry about that, my video card ran out of memory. So I've got my 4 blocks that I need for the pinwheel block number 5. The very first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to flip these 2 over, and I'm going to take a nice long ruler. This time I'm using my Creative Grids 2.5 by 18.5 inch ruler. And I'm going to draw a diagonal line from one end to the other. So here is the diagonal line. And I'll draw one more time. This one's really nice because you can absolutely see the line that I've drawn very easily on this block. Alright, so there's my line. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take these blocks and I'm going to put them right sides together, lining these up as best as possible, and then I'm going to pin it. I'll just stick 1 pin on each side. Once I've done that, I'm going to grab my wool pressing mat, which I use to carry my blocks back and forth to my sewing machine. Whoops, I'm not quite lined up over here. That's better. And I'm going to sew 1/4 inch away from this line on both sides, not just one side, 2 sides. So I will be back once I've done that. All right, I have sewn 1/4 inch away on both sides of my drawn line. My next step is to cut these 2 apart. I could press these first, set the seams, and then cut them apart, but my drawn line will be gone, number 1. And number 2, it's just as quick and easy just to grab a pair of scissors and cut them. So this time I'm using my Karen K Buck. These are my large scissors. I always just remember that the purple's the biggest size. So that's what these are. And I do like these scissors. They have these nice little serrated teeth on them so that they really seem to grab the fabric, which is very, very nice. I'm going to cut both of these. And what I learned from doing the first and the second block is that I really want to press all my seams open. Makes a big difference with how the center lays in my pinwheel block. And this is the 3rd time I've made this block. 3 different fabrics, but it's all going in the same quilt. So now I'm going to lay these down. See how I'm laying them? So I can press both of my seams when I go over it with my iron. Got a little thread there. I want to clip that, and I want to clip this one. Alright, so now I'm good with my thread clipping, and I'm going to grab my iron, and I'm just going to set my seams first. Once I've set my seams, I am going to grab my strip stick and I'm going to press each one of these open. And what I will do is go through the first one with you. Isn't that going to be beautiful? And then I'll fast forward through the other 3 so that hopefully I won't completely bore you with my rambling on and on and on. So again, I finger press my seam open. Use the very tip of my iron, and my iron is going to be doing all the work. You can see I am first pressing it with my fingers on this end. It's not something that I have to do, but I like to do it because I can feel where the seam is and if there's potentially anything that's not laying nice and flat with it. So here's my block. One last time over the iron. And now I'm going to set this one aside and do my other 3, but I'm going to speed you guys right up so that it will be done in the blink of an eye for you. All right, now that I've done that, I'm going to set my wool mat aside and my pressing stick. I'm going to put my pen away because I'm done with that now. And I'm going to grab one of my square rulers. Now this block, we're going to need to square it up to 8 inches. I could use anything that's larger than 8 inches to square it up, but my 12.5 inch one is the closest one to me, so I'm going to grab that one first. Can you see that nice 45-degree line that there is on this ruler? We're going to use that to line up our blocks. I'm going to be cutting this one down to 8 inches. So the very first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my 45-degree line and I'm just going to line it right up with my seam. The next thing I'm going to do is go across the bottom and the side to make sure I'm relatively straight. But this is the most important line to me. I'm going to go up the right side and across the top. Then I'm going to turn my block. Now I'm going to lay this down again. The next thing I'm doing with this one is I'm lining up on the left side, across the bottom, and the diagonal line. So I have 3 points to line up nicely so that my block is good and square. So here we go. There's one. Now I'm going to fast forward the rest of them so that you can see how I do it, and hopefully I won't bore you. So here we go. All right, here's my blocks. It is time to lay them out. Here we go. Isn't that going to be pretty? Ooh, I'm excited. All right, I'm going to pin these together exactly how I've done all the other ones. I'm going to flip these over. I'm going to turn it so that I'm working straight onto it. Grab some pins. I'm going to pin this corner, then I'm going to work my way in. Fold back and make sure that I'm lining up right. And I'm going to stick a couple pins in here. All right, just in case. I just want it nice and secure. And flip these together. Double check. Yep, I'm good. Pin. One more pin just a little bit farther away. Just don't want that moving. Now I'm going to line this up and I'm going to pin here. Then I'm going to go sew these two together and I'll be back so that I can show you how I press this open, and then we'll be doing our last seam. All right, my seams are sewn. I'm going to remove my pins, set my seams because we know that's important. And then I don't like the way that's sitting, so I'm going to press it again. Then I'm going to grab my strip stick and I, again, am going to press seams open. So here we go. Again, starting it with my fingers, no big deal. Just an easy finger press. And then letting the iron do the iron's job. Flip it over, lay it down. You can feel with your fingers that it's laying flat or not. And I'm just going to press it. Okay, there's my first side. Here comes my second side. I've already set my seam. So now I'm going to open it up. And now I'm going to do the same thing. Just press my seam. Take it, turn it around, lay it down, and I'm going to make sure my seam is open, and then I'm just going to give it another little press, just to make certain. All right. Next thing, flip these over together, make sure that I've got them all right and they look like the pattern. Flip it over, and then I'm going to start my pinning again. Look at how far off I was. All right, let's get these closer together. We'll line them all up. Take a little peek in there to make sure that we're good and lined up. And then we pin on both sides of the seam. All right. One more. All right, over to my sewing machine where I'm going to sew my one seam, and I'll be back. All right, my last seam is sewn. The very first thing that I do is set my seams. See what that double pinning does? It makes sure that my seams on the back side don't flip under, and they're all still nice and flat. So let me press the seams on this side too. Just gonna set them a little bit. Get them nice and warm and fuzzy. Now I'm gonna grab my strip stick and I'm going to once again press my seams open. And I'm not worried about them being pressed open. My stitch length is pretty small. And I know I'm quilting this on the machine, so I'm not concerned about the fact that I've pressed it open. I do not believe that I'll end up with gaping holes between where my stitches are. Just don't think it's going to happen. I haven't had it happen to one of my quilts yet, so I think I'm pretty safe. And I'm just going to keep pressing right across. And there you go. We've got our nice seam. Flip this over, and the next thing I'm going to do is lay it out nice and flat. And when you see me all the time, I'm always running my hands over the fabric. What I'm really doing is feeling it. I can feel where all my seams are, if there's any extra bumps in there, any big bumps. Now look at how nice that seam came out. That one came out the absolute best of all of mine. I think that one's really good. I'm going to press the entire thing. And that one laid flat enough that I'm not even concerned about taking the water at this stage and pressing it again. That's why I put my hands over it, because then I could feel it with my hands to see if I had any bumps that I really needed to get flatter. And I don't through here. I got a little bump here, so I'm going to press that. Just tell this fabric where I want it to lay. And that's exactly what it just did for me. So here is our block number 5. It is the pinwheel block. This is the last of our 4 blocks for the month of December. So far we have done 12 blocks. We are more than halfway through our springtime sampler. Next month I'll be bringing you 4 more blocks, and I cannot wait to share them with you. So here's December. Thank you so very much for sticking around all the way to the end to see how I went about making my blocks for the month of December. If you're not already part of our Facebook group, please do come on out and join us. If you have not yet subscribed to my channel, Margaret Lewin Quilting, please hit that subscribe button, and don't forget the little bell next to it so that you get notified every time I upload a new video. And on Sundays, you'll get an alert that I'm going live. I go live every Sunday from 2 until 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And what we do there is I show you what I've been working on lately, and we just chit chat. You never know what I'll be showing you that I found and that I'm working on. So thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope to see you again really soon. Bye, everybody.